We have Gerald from the Hemp Club, who's going to give us an in-depth information about how the endocannabinoid system can be absorbed through the skin. And I must say that Gerald is the creator of the famous topical hemp cream. So over to you, Gerald.
Thank you very much, Miss G. Okay, I'm Gerald. I've been playing with cannabis for, well, all my life, really. And in the last 15 years, I've been licensed and doing it legally, which has been a lot easier. And discovering on our way the endocannabinoid system. So the endocannabinoid system is a part of all of us. Every creature with a heartbeat has an endocannabinoid system, and it's a basic balancing system in the body. We've only known about it for 25 years. So before Dr. Mishalem in Israel did the primary studies on it, which was about 30 years ago, and then we got a bit of an understanding of it over the last 25 years. Before then, the endocannabinoid system was used by ancient practitioners, ancient doctors, without a real understanding of what it was. It was just that it worked. So it was used, and it was used using herbs and minerals and other things throughout history, actually. But it's only been in the last 25 years that we've discovered how it works, where it lives, what it does, how it does it. And it's been fascinating. And it's probably coincidental, but it's been 25 years since I started working with the endocannabinoid system, and I guess it was prompted by the studies that were being done. We started 25 years ago making topical hemp cream, which was made from the waste, the big grower. We got the waste product from the big growers and then infused that into olive oil, added beeswax to it, and used it as a topical painkiller. And we were totally experimental right from the beginning, but it's been amazingly effective. For a long time, we just used that, and then as I understood more of the endocannabinoid system and how it was working, I added other things to it, other natural herbs, minerals, mostly herbs and essential oils to it, and found that the effect of the effect on the endocannabinoid system and the entourage effect. So this is the effect that we heard about right from the beginning, like 25 years ago, of how the THC in the plant opened up the endocannabinoid system and then made it possible for the other cannabinoids in the plant to enter the endocannabinoid system through that doorway and to be used by the body. There are two basic receptors. There's the CB1 receptor and the CB2 receptor. The CB1 receptor is found in the neuronal system, so running into the brain. The CB2 receptors are found, here we go. We have a picture of it, but not exactly where it doesn't exactly show where the CB2 receptors are, but they're throughout the body, through all your soft tissues, through your, right throughout, including inside your bones, inciting in your bones. So that system for regulating calcium uptake, everything actually. It's your primary balancing system which brings you homeostasis, which means in good balance. That basically means your body's in good, healthy balance, is working correctly. The CB1 receptors are the ones that uptake THC, and that's why we get stoned from THC. So when you take THC, smoking it or eating it, gets into your blood, goes into your brain, causes you to get stoned. When you take CBDs or THC through your skin and take it through the CB2 receptors, it's not getting into your bloodstream. Therefore, it's not getting you stoned. No matter how much THC you rub on your skin or penetrate into your skin, it's not going to get you stoned. It just can't. doesn't have a pathway into your brain. It has a pathway into your endocannabinoid system, which is a mysterious beast, and it's hugely powerful and really, until recently, as I said, pretty much unknown. Through the CBD2 receptors, which are throughout the whole body, the uptake of, you can uptake THC, but the THC doesn't get into the bloodstream, doesn't get you stoned, does have a therapeutic effect, does have a, whatever it does, it works on you. It works on things, it works on your balancing system. So about 5-6 years ago, I began using that entourage system, which is a system for opening up the endocannabinoid system to take in the other cannabinoids. I began using it, uptaking other herbs, other healing agents, minerals, herbs, usually essential oils. And what we found is that they're getting, and this is only through experimentation and actually doing it. There's no scientific studies on this, but we can prove it works because it works. And it works really, really quickly. And it works so generally that you can almost say that, well, you know, if you put this on, it's going to do that thing. And it does seem to be working quite well. I'd say we have about 90% efficacy, which compared to Big Pharma blows them out of the water. They have largely no efficacy, or in a lot of cases, or confused efficacy at the best. But the cannabinoid medications seem to work pretty regularly and pretty solidly. And that's taken through the skin. Anyway, we found that the entourage system was allowing or was drawing in the other healing properties into the body and working with them. And we learnt this through making different products and seeing how they worked. So I've got here a range, and it's only a part of the range of what we're making through topical hemp cream and through the Northern Rivers Hemp Growers Cooperative. They're our two major healing spots and outlets. And I'll show you a couple of these items, and if any of you afterwards would like to try them, or just have a feel and see how they go, or if you've got any pain in your body or anything like that, certainly deal with it. This one here is a really good example. We make this over at Northern Rivers Hemp Growers Cooperative. This one is a really good example of how the endocannabinoid system uptakes other things other than cannabis. So in this one here, I've got a native plant which is called kunzia, and it's a painkiller in its own right. It's used for fixing rheumatoid arthritis and just general pain in the body. Arnica, which is a well-known product that goes into, boxers use it for bruising and contusions and stuff like that after a fight. It works very well for dealing with the pain. Oregano, rosemary, wintergreen, and the last one here written down here is super important. It's peppermint gum. This works in a 3-step process. Peppermint gum. So that's Eucalyptus radiatus. The peppermint gum is important because it does the first step, which is penetrate through the skin and take the oil down into the organism. It turned out, and my friend Mark Webb put me onto this one, that the peppermint gum is the most effective penetrant we have in the natural world. It's remarkable. And if you just use peppermint gum by itself as a ointment, as a resin, you put it on your skin and it's just gone. It's oil. When you touch it, it's oily, and you put it on your skin, it's gone. It just disappears straight in. So we're using that as our carrier, that and rosemary. Rosemary is another excellent penetrant. So we're using those two ingredients to drag everything else through. So the peppermint gum and the rosemary carry the THC, the CBD. In this one here, it's only CBD with a tiny amount of THC. Enough to be useful, but not enough to, even if you drank it, not enough to get any intoxication, but enough to open up those cannabinoid pathways. So the peppermint and the rosemary carry the effective ingredients, the healers, down through the skin. The THC and the CBD find the receptors, cleat to the receptors, and then carry the kunzia, the arnica, the oregano, etc., into the endocannabinoid system, the balancing system of your body. And the efficacy tells us that it's working. So we've been putting this one here specifically on people who are in a lot of pain, a lot of muscular pain, a lot of nerve pain and stuff like that. It works within minutes, often within seconds. It's that effective. And I'd advise any of you who have got any pain to come and try this one out. It's really effective. This one here is the original hemp cream, and it's a great product. It doesn't have the star bang of the rest of the products I'm making. It was the first one we made, but it's still super relevant, and it's still our biggest seller by a long, long way. It's just an all-round skin and pain killing, and it's very good on your skin. It's very good on sores, on cuts, on blemishes, anything like that. Dry skin, burns, sunburn, etc. It's also a pretty good penetrant, but it doesn't have the penetrant power of some of the other things that we've been playing with. But as a base, wonderful. And it's just THC. This one here, the topical hemp cream, which we sell down at THC, is THC, hemp, beeswax, and olive oil. That's all that's in it. And a terrific product, really effective. Sun cancer, skin cancer. So with skin cancer, we've been finding the best method of dealing with it is the pure resin. So, and the CBD mixed with the THC resin is best. You're better to have a blend of the two. But with anything that's actually topical, so like your skin cancers, which are on the surface, you don't need to penetrate to find them. You don't need to put anything with them to get to them. We've been finding that just rubbing. And this came from Dr. Andrew Catalaris. So he was years ago, must be 15, 17 years ago now, he was injecting pure resin, pure cannabis resin, into tumours that were inside the body of patients. And he was getting rid of the tumours. Very effective. He had some mishaps, the law caught up with him, blah, blah, all these things. But watching what he was doing really switched me onto the fact that when you put cannabis resin, and it can be CBD or THC, preferably both, when you put that with a cancerous tumour, the tumour dies, and it dies in a natural way. So it's called apoptosis, and that's when cell death happens. Cancers are just cells that have forgotten how to die, and they keep reproducing and reproducing and reproducing. The cannabis teaches them how to die, and that's what they do. The experiments were done in a Petri dish where they had tumours, live cancer tumours, and they injected them or they washed them with THC, and they died. They just died in a natural way. So the cancer won't live with THC and CBD. They just don't like each other. They don't get on. Consequently, putting it for skin cancers, we've just been rubbing the resin onto the actual cancer, onto the actual lesion on the skin, and doing it. It usually takes 2 or 3 times, and it's very similar to the way that the black salve was working. And a lot of people were using black salve, which is very caustic. It digs holes in your skin and it leaves craters and it'll go to the bone. The cannabis resin does none of those things. It just forms the skin over the top. It dries it. It falls off a couple of days later, and generally that cancer is no longer there. So that's where we've been having success. We've moved into, this is over at the co-op here, we've moved into these products. This one is Canarousal. You rub it on through the skin. It does make you quite horny. And we've got, what have we got? Oh, where's the other one? We got the other sleeping one, which you rub on your feet, and it really makes you sleepy. It's very, very good for people with insomnia. I've been told that insomniacs wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, rub some of that on their feet and go back to sleep. So it's a win. Worth the try anyway. It's been really good. This one here is another one which people might like to try. This is Gumby Healing Cream. And I've been working with the Western Desert Kooris, making up some traditional medicines with them. And this is one of them. It's Gumby, which comes from this area. We're also working on a pitchery mix for them, and some bloodwood and some leopard wood resin mixes that go with the cannabis. The cannabis is a binder. It'll bring all these things together and make them useful. So, and for instance, when you're having chemotherapy, they found that they can give you 1/10 of the amount of chemotherapy poisons into your system if they're using cannabis for the same effect as a full dose. It's remarkable. The other thing where we've been using cannabis for people with who are having chemotherapy and radiation therapy is to stop the ill effects from those two things, and it works beautifully. It takes the nausea, a lot of the tiredness, and a lot of the aching out of the process. It's been really quite useful and remarkable, and a lot of the doctors are beginning to realise this. And although they don't promote it, they're not standing in its way. And we're starting to get quite a few doctors sending us the patients that they can't deal with. So we've got one oncologist who is sending us his terminal patients to deal with dying. They're finding that death is coming, but they're easing it. They're taking the pain out of it, and they're taking a lot of the fear out of it. Just getting into a better headspace and whatever. But it is pretty remarkable watching somebody who's terrified of death accepting. And yeah. This one here is a new mix that I've just been making up. It's comfrey, magnesium, and cannabis. It's both THC and CBD, and it's a new format, and I'm working on it for bone strengthening and fixing bone fractures, etc. It's pretty good for pain, but it's really good for healing. This one here it seems to be bringing the fibres of the muscle, getting them back together. Well worth a try. Well worth if you've got any muscle tears or bone, or for that matter, bone fractures and stuff like that. It seems to be very effective. Over here we have soap, CBD-based soap, and it's, thank you, love, CBD-based soap. Again, it just makes the skin feel terrific. It's a really nice soap, and you can feel the difference between a soap with cannabinoids in it and without. You can feel it on your skin. Again, it's something that you just have to experiment with yourself and try to see. And lastly, in my list of things I'd like to show you is our mouthwash and dental. Now, this one has a lot of positive effects, and I made it to, when I was initially making it, I was making it to try and make something that would get us through the lick test on the way into town. So I was trying to make something. It was more of a safety thing than anything else. So I mixed up with CBD and THC resin. I mixed up. Let me think now. What I put? Cloves, tea tree, myrrh, and CBD and THC into the oil. and using it as a mouthwash. Now that sounds counterintuitive as far as getting through the drug testing thing goes, but the lick tests aren't testing you for THC or CBD, they're testing you for the enzyme that your body gives off when you get stoned. So having THC in your mouth at the lick test is not an issue. It's not a... Well, I proved it myself yesterday. Came in quite stoned, as usual, and got stopped by the cops, and I had a mouthful of this and I spat it out, and they lick tested me and they said, yeah, you're good to go. It was full of THC and CBD, and I was full of THC and CBD too, but anyway, the machine got confused, it didn't mark it. So it's effective for that, but then I tested it again. We've had it going for about a year now, and I tested it again with the swab test, which is the second test they do. It doesn't pass that test. It passed the first lick test, but it just doesn't get through the swab test, which sucks in a whole lot more saliva. So there you go. Just a word of warning, it doesn't work. It works, but it doesn't work. It's certainly not a get out of jail free card, but it seems to help. But what it has been doing, the mouthwash mix, what it has been doing is fixing tooth decay. And I'm pretty sure that's the cloves and the myrrh, and probably the tea tree as well. But I've got a collapsed tooth, and it was giving me the most intense pain. So in using this, well, that's the mouthwash. This is the dental double strength. So a double strength, and I'm using that one to irrigate my mouthwash, and I've got no dental pain. So I'm just waiting to go and see a dentist now and get it sorted. But for that, it's really effective. For any kind of, what do they call it, gum, gingivitis and this kind of thing, awesome. I think the tea tree is the thing that's doing that. And the cloves, probably, and the myrrh, probably all of them. But they're working really well for that. Lastly, and probably most importantly, when you've got that in your mouth, because viruses almost invariably fix in the throat and the sinuses, when you're wearing a germ-killing mouthwash, an antibiotic mouthwash like this one, when you've got that in your mouth, you can be standing next to flu-ridden people, COVID-ridden people, anybody. It can't get into where it likes to go to breed. That's your mouth, your throat, and your sinuses. And it works. It works. I can quite confidently sit in a room full of very sick people and know that it's not my issue. I'm not getting it. So these are the things I've been discovering with the endocannabinoid system, how it's working and what we can do and what we can't. And it's the beginning of the journey, but we've made some huge, huge steps and want to make a whole lot more. So
yeah, and I was going to say, are you nearly finished? Because you've got just a few minutes for questions.
Questions? I am finished. That's my presentation.
Wow, thank you.
And if there's any questions?
Yeah, put up your hand and we'll bring a mic.
Hi. I was wondering if the mouthwash is suitable for children because of the CBD. Like, how high is the THC level, I suppose?
Okay, well, because you're not swallowing it, like you're
spitting it out.
You spit it out.
Yeah.
It's really not that relevant, and it's tiny.
Okay.
So it's only just to activate the receptors. That's all I've got it in there for. It's a very minor amount.
Amazing. And I have one more question. Sorry. You said at the beginning that when you have THC on your skin, you won't get stoned. When people make, for example, like they infuse a butter or an oil and they're squeezing it out, they get something called contact high. Have you heard of this? Is that more like an overload of CBD just making them really drowsy, or?
Well, they're probably breathing fumes.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Through the skin, it's just not working that way.
Okay.
And like we make suppositories as well, and there was people saying, oh no, you're just going to get terribly stoned if you use them.
Yeah.
You don't.
Okay.
And provably you don't. I mean, you just don't.
Amazing, thank you.
It's not getting into that, it's not getting into your blood.
Yeah, the receptors are different. Awesome, thank you so much.
Hello. Where do you buy these beautiful products?
Okay, well, Northern Rivers Hemp Growers Cooperative and topical hemp cream. So we've got, basically it's one end of town we've got CBD, the other end of town we've got THC, and we've bracketed the village, so you can go to either one.
Okay, any other burning questions? I was going to say we'll make you the last one, Krusty, and then Gerald, if people do want to come and chat further,
if anybody wants to try some of these or have a look, come and see me.
My question, Gerald, is thanks very much for an awesome presentation. Just about the endocannabinoid system and the entourage effect, could you talk a little bit about sort of spinning up the entourage effect, i.e. coming from never having worked with the plant to actually moving into the entourage effect so that it becomes a part of your life, I guess, part of your life? And how does that occur?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
So the entourage effect, baseline, never tried cannabis, working with cannabis, it affecting the human system to the point where the entourage effect has kicked in, so there is an effect. How long does that take, and what does that look like?
All right. Well, it should take no time at all. So an example of using the entourage effect is if you're smoking pot. How long does it take to get you stoned? So that's how quick it can be. Taking it through the skin and through the CB2 receptors, it's going to take longer, but not a lot longer. If you eat cannabis, so it's going into your tummy and going through your liver and digestive system, it takes a lot longer. It can take up to an hour and a half, 2 hours to actually get into your system and start working. If you hold it in your mouth and get it up into your brain through this big vein here, then it can be pretty much instant too. It can be a matter of a few minutes. The quickest way to do it would be to smoke it. That gets it into your bloodstream, gets you stoned, gets it working. That would be the case too with CBDs, although I suspect not quite so much. And you can't tell because you don't get stoned with CBDs, but you can certainly feel their effect. Anxiety, for instance, it's a couple of drops under the tongue of CBD oil or CBD honey or whatever you're using. A couple of drops of that will take your anxiety away, and it'll do it instantly. You're not waiting around for it to happen. You're losing your anxiety straight away, and it's noticeable. So
the entourage effect is basically ingesting the plant in one way or another. It's not actually a build-up over time, so that the lock and key mechanism becomes more and more available to the system? No. Your system is waiting for it.
The endocannabinoid system means you produce cannabinoids in your own body. We all do. Every creature with a heartbeat produces cannabinoids in their own body to balance themselves. It's a tiny fraction of an amount and nothing like what the cannabis plant produces. So we're just ODing on cannabinoids, really, and using them for the purpose we want to use them for. Yeah, our bodies have. And once you do start taking cannabinoids from the plant, you'll find that your own internal endocannabinoid system becomes lazy. It doesn't need to do the work, so it doesn't do it. It's a shame, but your own endocannabinoid system is not as powerful as the plant's endocannabinoids anyway. So really you're sort of using a better product than you can produce yourself.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you again for coming and sharing, and I